Alright everyone, the RP6 Purple has arrived. We're going to do an unboxing. Currently, the accessories and other components haven't been finalized and produced yet, so for the time being, we only have the screen protector and a few other small items available to show you. Alright, let's put that over there. And then, this right here is the main body of the device. Wow, this shade of purple is considerably more intense than what I had envisioned. Let me just take a closer look at it. I was thinking it would be more of a light purple, but this is a really deep purple. Remember how the engineering sample had a lot of issues reported with the screen? Well, since they've already shipped it out to us now, I'm assuming that those problems have been rectified by now. Let's take a look at this machine, as you can see. This time, it appears to be a device featuring an entirely glass panel, and below, for the very first time, they've incorporated this, see? Sparkling glitter powder. It's genuinely soothing to the eyes, and it looks far superior to that mirrored finish, definitely better than the one found on the Odin 3. If Odin 3 had this kind of finish with those special touches, it would definitely look much better and far more appealing. And as for the buttons, this time around, they've all been upgraded to crystal buttons, utilizing high-quality conductive rubber components throughout the entire design. These are dome switches, but they feel incredibly soft to the touch. And regarding the joysticks, the caps have been updated to standard ones this time around. Regarding this particular joystick cap, if you just bear with me for a moment, I appreciate your patience. Alright everyone, here's a Switch joystick cap. Let's give it a try and see if it'll actually fit perfectly onto this device. Alright, once it's on, as you can all see, it does stick out a little bit. It might be just a tiny bit bigger than the Switch's, but it's perfectly usable. You can just use a Switch joystick cap directly, no problem at all. It actually feels pretty comfortable, quite pleasant to use. Alright, the dpad here still uses metal domes, but they're noticeably softer now. The tactile feel and overall tuning have definitely improved significantly. Moreover, if you take a closer look at its directional pad, you will notice it also incorporates a subtle curve, meaning it is not entirely flat across the surface. With this design, everyone will find using their thumb to press on the directional buttons to be a much more comfortable experience. Yeah, the joysticks support a downward press, and all four directions function perfectly fine. Now let's take a look at the back. It conveniently features built-in back buttons, and the tactile sensation of these buttons is quite comparable to what you'd experience with a Veyron controller, offering a similar level of responsiveness and comfort. And you won't have any issues even when pressing the difficult-to-reach edges. Everything works perfectly fine. The more towards the center you press, the easier it becomes, while the outer edges are a bit stiffer. But truthfully, it's still quite good overall. No complaints here. This time, a dust filter has been added to the air intake. You can clearly see the cooling fan inside there, can't you see it? It's roughly this size. And this fan, it's actually pretty decent. It's quite a large one, isn't it? Down here are the heat dissipation vents. As for the vents, it's really just this layer, this mesh layer. There's nothing else inside of it. Oh, this time around, they've truly expanded the grip's design quite significantly, and indeed both the shoulder buttons and the triggers have been made substantially larger as well. The full-size shoulder buttons are fully clickable and, as always, incredibly comfortable. The trigger buttons are also quite substantial in size, and they offer a really comfortable feel to the touch. And these back buttons, when you're gripping it, are perfectly positioned so your middle fingers can comfortably rest right on them, easily pressing them. They're very comfortable. Alright, it's time for our classic weighing segment. Let's go ahead and weigh this for everyone right here. Around 307 grams. Alright, and now, for the very last part, let's just quickly measure the grip position with the caliper for everyone. Okay, so what do we have here? 26. Honestly, that's really not too bad. The buttons this time around, they've also made them considerably larger, which is a fantastic enhancement. It's 7.9, almost 8 millimeters. It feels really, really comfortable. Alright, so now let's power it on and actually see if the screen's alignment has been corrected. Alright, upon booting up, you might notice the screen is still a little reddish. Shadia's displays consistently have a slight red tint, so you'll have to fine-tune the color settings yourself. After I adjusted it to roughly this position, the screen's color became pretty much a true, accurate white, exactly as it should be, perfectly corrected. Alright, now let's take a closer look at the display brightness of this screen. We'll examine how it performs, observing its overall luminance and clarity. Let's really dive into the details and see what it's all about, shall we? Come on, let's get right to it and check it out. Now, observe. This is the absolute lowest brightness setting. Previously, as you may have noticed in videos from other content creators, when set to the lowest brightness, the screen flicker would become quite prominent and noticeable. Alright, now that it's been rectified, let's take another look at the screen, specifically focusing on its performance at the absolute lowest brightness level. It's quite good, but for OLED screens, I still recommend that everyone set the brightness to at least 50% or higher for gaming. This will definitely be much better for everyone's eyes in the long run. Alright, given the presence of such a substantial fan, let's now proceed to demonstrate its operational sound. Honestly, it's quite quiet. The fan on this thing is really well done. They did a fantastic job with that aspect, so that's really well executed. Regarding the fan noise, if you're playing in bed and just turn up the game volume a bit, you really won't be able to hear the fan at all. It's quite impressive how effectively it gets masked. Alright, and over here we also have the joystick lights. Let's go ahead and switch them on and take a look. They're quite nice, just as beautiful as they always are. By tapping here on the right, you can adjust and set the colors. Of course, it also inherits the separate charging feature, which we call bypass charging. Hey, as you can see, they even offer you a variety of charging cables to choose from here. Although this particular company, Shadia, doesn't handle the front-end software, the actual craftsmanship and system integration of their devices are surprisingly well executed and quite user-friendly, making them a good option for you to choose. And this time, the purple hue of this particular device is truly stunning. While it might appear a tad too purple when still nestled in its packaging, once you actually take it out, its texture and overall feel are simply fantastic. Quite lovely indeed. Plus, the device itself isn't bulky at all. Alright everyone, check this out. This is that mini dragon from a little while ago. As you can clearly see, this particular model features a perfectly sized 4-inch display screen. It's quite compact and easy to handle. And so, this particular one here, this is the NS2. See that? It's pretty much the same size as an NS2 tablet without its controllers. That's really quite good actually, don't you think? That's quite impressive. Alright, finally, to wrap up my thoughts on this machine, the RP6 might very well be the most budget-friendly device you'll find this year. When they were planning this project last year, they truly couldn't have foreseen that storage prices would skyrocket so dramatically, literally doubling. As a result, purchasing this device now really presents an exceptional value, coming in at less than For 2000 RMB, you get 12GB RAM, 256GB storage, and it seems to run all emulators smoothly. Furthermore, the 8 Gen 2 chip itself provides a very comprehensive set of emulator drivers. The device is quite compact, the price is really reasonable, and its appearance is truly elegant. Alright, that wraps up this video. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye until next time.